In this video, you'll learn how to do a reproduction European mount, as well as some techniques for making your finished product look as realistic as possible. Reproduction European skull mount kits are available from a wide variety of outdoor stores, as well as online marketplaces such as Amazon. The kit that's being used here is the Mountain Mike's Record Keeper European Mount Kit. I'll leave an affiliate link below if you'd like to order one for yourself. Now with this kit, you can use the entire skull plate from your deer to keep the measurements accurate, which is especially important if you're mounting a record book deer. This particular kit comes with directions, some epoxy, a little touch-up paint, and also some mounting hardware if you care to use it. The first thing you'll want to do is to cut and trim your skull plate so it fits at least somewhat naturally into the gap on the plastic skull. Next, you'll need to attach your skull plate to the skull with the included mounting screws. You can do this by clamping the plate to the skull and drilling some holes in your skull plate based on the pre-drilled pilot holes. Now these didn't work out so well for me as they barely caught the end of the skull plate, so I drilled my own pilot holes a little further back to get more of a secure fit, and then I screwed the antlers in place. After your skull plate is attached to the top of the skull, you can then attach the top portion to the bottom portion with the two small screws that are included with the kit. The next step is to fill in the gaps around your skull plate and blend it all together with the included epoxy, which is basically a tube of JB Weld. Now you've got about 15 minutes of working time before the epoxy sets, so before it dries, you can also take a nail and carve in some skull plate cracks in the epoxy so it matches up and blends in better with the plastic skull. This is a very important step to make the mount look more authentic when it's all finished. Before you start all the finishing work, you can tape up the antlers so you don't get them covered in dust and paint, and especially make sure to cover the area around the underside of the pedicles and antler base, as you can see here. Next, it's time to shape and blend the epoxy in, which you can do with sandpaper and a Dremel tool, working your way down from 80 to around 220 grit sandpaper. You can also sand the actual plastic skull, which helps to give the entire piece more of a blended, natural-looking uniform finish when it's all said and done. After the skull is all shaped and sanded down, you can carve in more of the skull plate separations with a Dremel tool and graver bit like I'm doing here, which again really helps to give the artificial skull more of an authentic look. To finish things off, spray down the skull with a few light coats of Kills Primer and Sealer, which gives it a really nice flat, natural-looking bone white finish and texture when it all dries. After it dries overnight, take off the masking tape, touch up the pedicle areas with some paint if need be, and hang it on the wall. As you can see, it doesn't look exactly like a real deer skull, but it's not too bad, especially from a distance. If you have any tips for making these skull kits look more realistic, please leave a comment below. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to this channel and check out the 3 Minutes Outdoors website at 3minutesoutdoors.com. And finally, if you'd like to support this channel, click on the link in the video description below to find out more.